Data cleaning, or as it's sometimes known, data wrangling, is a fundamental skill if you're going to take your Excel data analysis game to the next level. This is the third video in a series of tutorials that I'm doing that shows you how to take raw data in Excel and to clean it, to wrangle it into formats that are amenable, that support the kinds of advanced analytics that I teach in other tutorials on my YouTube channel. Now, the subject of this particular video is substituting data. So it's often the case when you get a data set and you want to analyze it in a particular way that you have a lot of individual values that don't actually work for an analysis. So for example, maybe you have a couple of labels, a couple of categories that are very, very rare. And this is often not amenable to doing the types of advanced analytics that I teach on my channel. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to use Excel's powerful VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP functions to substitute values in an existing column of data with a smaller subset of values that allows you to do more powerful analyses. Now, I've received a request to actually do a specific video comparing VLOOKUP to XLOOKUP, and that will be coming in a future video. Okay, let's flip over to Excel and see how we can use these two powerful functions to wrangle our data. So here I am in Excel, the Excel workbook for this particular video. And by the way, if you're interested in getting this file, you can check down below the video in the description. There'll be a link to a GitHub repository where you can download this particular file. So as I'm doing for all videos in this series, I am going to use a famous machine learning data set which stores data for Titanic passengers. So each row in this particular data set, in this particular table, is an individual passenger on the Titanic with various characteristics regarding that passenger, and a column with a label of 1 if the passenger survived, and 0 if unfortunately the passenger perished. And I'm not going to go too much detail into that because I've covered this in more depth in previous videos. And by the way, if you're interested in looking at those, I'll put the playlist up here, but don't click it yet because there's plenty of more goodness in this video, but they'll be up there in case you want to take a look at it. So where we ended up at the end of part 2 in this series is we extracted the individual titles out of the name column into a new column, which we call title. So for example, if you had title of Mrs. John Smith, we pulled out Mrs. If you had the title Miss Enola Brown, we pulled out Miss out of that, so on and so forth. And what we see over here, and I'll just scroll over a little bit so you can see it, is a pivot table of the individual titles and then a count of how many males or females have that particular title in the data. So for example, you can see here, we only have one captain in the entire data set, and there's 891 rows of data, by the way. So only 1 out of 891 passengers in the data set has the title of captain. Only 2 have colonel. Only 1 has Don. Notice this. This is really cool, by the way. We have 7 doctors in the 891 rows, and 1 of them is female. How cool is that? That would be totally unexpected because you have to remember the Titanic sailed in the early 1900s, and female doctors weren't that common back then. So this is pretty cool. And we'll take care of this later in the data cleanup. So what we've got here is a collection of titles where quite a few of them have very few individual rows. And for a lot of data analysis techniques, that's going to be problematic. What would be better for our analyses is to consolidate those down. So we have a fewer number of titles with more corresponding rows of data. And there is no rule. There are no hard and fast rules for how you do this. This is where the art of being a data analyst comes into play. So what I'm going to demonstrate in this video is one way to do this consolidation from many titles down to a smaller list, but it's not necessarily the best way. It's just one way to do it. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use Excel's mighty VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP functions. So what you can see over here is I've got a little table of data here, which I'm calling title lookup. And basically what you can see is all of the individual titles, and then they have a mapping to a smaller consolidated list. So what I'm effectively going to do is create new columns of data that substitute out rare titles, like captain, for example, with a more common title, in this case, Mr. And you can see that right here. We have captain. We're going to look this up, and whenever we see a captain, we're going to replace it with a Mr. So VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP are awesome for this. I do this all the time. So we're going to use VLOOKUP first. And VLOOKUP is a great function because it has maximum compatibility with Excel. The XLOOKUP function, as you will see here in a minute or two, does basically the same thing. However, XLOOKUP has a limited reach. For example, when it was first released, it was only in O365 subscriptions. So if you had an older version of Excel like 2013, you didn't have access to the XLOOKUP function. But if you use VLOOKUP, you're good to go between older versions of Excel and also on Mac as well as Windows. So let's do VLOOKUP first. So VLOOKUP is pretty cool. Essentially what it does is it allows you to join tables of data. They use the term lookup, but if you ever get into more serious analytics, then join is the typical word to describe what we're going to do here. So the VLOOKUP function is pretty simple. The first thing we need to do is tell it what value we want to use. And in this particular case, what we're looking up, what we're trying to consolidate down are the values over here in column O, in the title column. So all we do is we just type in O. We type in O2 because this is the value that we want to go use to look up in that table that I just talked to you about. We're going to go O2 and then VLOOKUP says, okay, cool, Dave. So I'm going to go look up the value in O2, but where is the table of data that I need to actually perform the lookup upon? And that's when we type in, okay, type in $Z, $3. And notice over here, we start highlighting all of the values that VLOOKUP is going to use. And then we're going to put a colon in there and say all the way through AA19. Okay. And notice that all of these particular cells are now highlighted. And what this does is it provides the data that is used by VLOOKUP. Now, the next thing we need to tell VLOOKUP is, okay, if I find a match in the lookup operation, what column in the data that you just highlighted do I pull back? Let me just put a 2 in here and let me explain what's going on. So what's going to happen here is VLOOKUP is going to take the value in O2, which in this case happens to be Mr. And it's going to assume that the column of values that we're interested in looking at is this first column right here. And it's going to say, hey, is O2 equal to lady? Nope. Is it equal to MME? Nope. Is it equal to the countess? Nope. So on and so forth, till eventually it gets down to Mr. and says, aha, I found Mr. right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return back the value out of the second column, which happens to be Mr. in this case because Mr. and Mr. are the same thing, but this is the way VLOOKUP works. You have to duplicate some data in these particular scenarios. And it says, aha, I found it. It returns it back and it's going to fill it out. And lastly, what we need to do is we need to tell VLOOKUP, hey, don't do an approximate match, do an exact match because we have an exact lookup table here. We don't want you to get funky. If you find Mr., return back the associated value with Mr. So we'll make that false here and we close it off with a parentheses. So this is our function call. Hey, grab the value from O2, go look up all of these values here. If you find a match, return back whatever value you find in the second column. So if I hit enter, you can see that we get a lot of goodness coming through, right? It auto-populates all the way down the column and it fills everything in. Now, most of these you can see are exactly the same thing, right? There's nothing going on here. But if you look down on this right here, row 32, we have Dawn. So Dawn was the O value for the column. And what VLOOKUP did was it says, okay, I got Dawn. I'm going to go over here. Oh, there's Dawn right there. What is the second value in the table? Mr. So I'm going to return back Mr. That's how VLOOKUP works. Real super simple. Now, XLOOKUP is an improvement over VLOOKUP. And like I said, I'll have a future video that talks more about XLOOKUP versus VLOOKUP. So it's a little simpler to work with. So we just type in XLOOKUP, not surprisingly. What is the lookup value? Once again, we're looking up whatever's in O2, the current title. And then it says, okay, great. Where is the array of cell values that you want me to go look up into? And in this case, what it is it's, once again, $Z, $3, through $Z, $19. Take any value that you find in O2, and then go search through all of these values over here until you find a match, just like what we did in VLOOKUP. And then XLOOKUP says, cool, when I find a match, where are the values you want me to return back? So we say, all right, well, it's in $AA, $3, through $AA, $19. And that's all we need for XLOOKUP. It's pretty simple. We just hit enter and we get exactly the same thing. Once again, if you go down to row 32, you can see here that Dawn has been mapped now has been transformed, substituted into misters in both of these cases. Awesome. And you might be thinking to yourself, geez, Dave, this was a lot of work. What's the benefit? Well, let me show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and refresh this particular pivot table because now we have 2 new columns of data. And what we can do is we can scroll down here and we can see that we now have title VLOOKUP and title XLOOKUP. I'm just going to go ahead and use title VLOOKUP for the fun of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of these things in the pivot table. And I'm going to drop title VLOOKUP down into the rows. And notice this gets much cleaner. And then for Grinsies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop new P class in underneath title VLOOKUP in the fields section here. And look at this. First, second, third, first, second, third. Awesome. But wait for it. And we drag new survived to the columns and then new survived values. And look at that. Look at the goodness there. This is awesome sauce. This is great. But let's go ahead and change these to percentages because that makes things really pop a little bit better. And we do percentage of row total. Boom. Look at that. This is where consolidating down all of those titles really makes our analyses pop, because what we've got here essentially is 4 distinct categories of passengers based on this current mapping of title. So for example, Mrs. generally speaking denotes an adult married female, maybe a widowed female, but adult females nevertheless. Mr. denotes an adult male, whether married or not. Miss will denote either a female child, a girl, or an unmarried adult woman. And then lastly, Master, as we talked about in the last video, denotes a male child or a boy. And what you can see here is some really interesting stuff. 100% of boys survived in first and second class. It drops down to 39% in third. That's a dramatic drop. You can see that females, whether they're children or unmarried adult women, overwhelmingly survive in first and second class. And they only got a 50-50 chance of survival in third class. Misters, look at that. It's just terrible across the board, but it's particularly bad in second class, the survival. That's very interesting insight here. And then lastly, you can see adult married women overwhelmingly survived in first and second class. And once again, you're at about 50-50 split in third class. This is where the power of these substitutions come into play, because this is a much more compelling and much more interesting analysis for this particular reason, if nothing else. These general buckets that I just described are what is known as more generalizable patterns in the data. So for example, how do we know what the patterns of behavior in the data are for passengers with the title of captain if there's only one of them? This is where consolidating down to a smaller list of potential values really allows your analyses to pop. If you're interested in learning more about Excel data analysis, I'll put up a couple of videos here for you to check out. And there you have it, XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. If you like this video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out with a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, please stay healthy, and I wish you very happy data sleuthing.